Hello, everyone, and welcome. How is everybody tonight? Annie, I'm sorry to hear that you are having a high pain day. Probably because you've been doing a lot lately, all that baking and Christmas preparation. It does get to us. Hello, Rosie. Good to see you. Alicia B. Hello, Jean. And then I think I saw Shad come in, my friend Shad. May have to explain that blossom thing again. Diamond Girl, that's Joan. Good to see you. So you guys, the tooth, it's bad right now. I'm not totally prepared for tonight because I've been dealing with this. I got to call tomorrow and get an appointment. Hey, Steve. Trucker Steve is here. This is the horn. I like him to pull the horn for the truck. He's an 18-wheeler trucker Steve, 18-wheeler driver. Hello, Bree. Kathy G. Everybody's coming in. Woo! Sally Birch is here tonight. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Oh no, somebody ate the cookies. Oh gosh. So now you got to make more cookies. See, you're going to have to time that when you make those cookies. Going to have to time it. So, did everybody get some reading in on the book? Please put a 1 in the chat if you got some reading on the book done. Hello, Sharon. Everybody's saying hello to each other. I love that. I love that you guys interact and say hello. Tammy, good to see you. Yay, you made it. Aw. Well, be careful. Shannon says, that's a nope. That's a nope. It's okay. You can still listen. I just want to know how many of you had, it's a hard time of year to be reading and taking notes and keeping up. But oh my gosh, this part of the book is really good, you guys. It's really good. And I would have had it completely done, but I didn't get it all completely done, but I was hoping to. Hey, Nancy. Hi, Donna. But I think I have enough to talk about. So I have my coffee here. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to sip on it because the heat seems to bother me. I'm finishing up a Topo Chico. I have this here. It's more at room temperature now, so I can tolerate it better. I'm mostly taking sips at the moment. I did order and get my sensitive toothpaste came in today. So I will be able to use that tonight. Hey, Lorna. Oh, so you are very, very busy is not the word, Sally. You have priorities that you should have at this point. And so your priorities have changed. Let's put it that way. And so I do, I hope for that to go very well for you. Yeah, you're very exhausted. There's the word. That's a word, right? Exhausted's a word. Yeah. So 0 time. Yeah. You guys, this is a very hard time of year because people are thinking about their loved ones that aren't here. They tend to be getting together with loved ones and then finding out that there's a lot more going on with them than they originally thought. Wishing that they could go see their loved ones because they know that they feel like they might need them or they need to go see them for some reason. There's a lot of things that happen this time of year that can play on our emotions. Just take a deep breath, you guys. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Oh, your dad's turning 90. How bless him. Bless him, Nancy. I talked to my dad today. He has a rash. So don't know where that came from. That's out of the blue. He's like, okay, I've had it. He's just pretty well done, really done with the whole people messing with him thing. And I don't blame him. It's hard. Oh, I didn't mean to make you cry, but it is true. This is a very of all the times a year that things can happen, you know, you have birthdays and anniversaries and things that can affect you, but the holidays seem to hit people pretty hard. But like I said, just take a deep breath and it'll be okay. Let me show you what I'm working on. You want to see some pretty stuff that I can do and maybe distract you. And that is what I like to do on this channel. I like to distract you guys. Distraction seems to work pretty well. So here is my project, and I'm in the middle of a row here. So here's how it looks. I did finish that second section. And I haven't measured to see how long it is, but you can already tell that it's gotten, this is the section I'm doing now, and then I'm going to be finished. So see it right here. I started the muskox again. And so I'm doing this part right here, and then I'll do this one, and I'll be done. Are you coming up, Bubby? Okay, come on up. Serbs is getting up underneath the desk. All right. Good job, Bubby. So it's looking so pretty, and I absolutely love it. I mean, this is so rich. The colors are just so rich. Yes, it's the something in red. It's the one I've been working on. Oh, they did the autopsy to see why. Okay, so they do that sometimes. They want to know why your brother passed away. See, holidays again. It's hard. Yes, so this is the something in red. Now, in case you guys were trying to figure out what we're talking about for book club, this is the book, Murder Investigation Team by Stephen Keogh. It's How Scotland Yard Really Catches Killers. And this is his book where he talks about what they did as a MIT, in the MITs. Hi, Chels. I love you, hon. So this is the book we are talking about. I also have something to show you that I got in the mail today. So I can open that after we get a break. I would show you all of the yarns, but I do want to remind you of what hold on. There it is. So the muskox is this one. There's more than one brand of muskox on the market, and they all have a little different blend to them. But this is the one I'm using. It's from Arctic. It's Kiviat sock yarn, and the company is Arctic Kiviat, and they're in North Pole, Alaska. And the color is Tiger Lily. So that's the muskox. And then this here this is Primrose, and it's called Bourbon Street. This is a mohair, a lace mohair that I'm holding together with it for these in the center here. And the other two colors are by Donna of Crystal Skies Hand Dyed. And this one here is called Blood Oath. And this one is called Murder, She Wrote. So there's a brief synopsis of the yarns again for you guys. So I looked for it, but I have not got an answer on that yet. Alicia, do you know? Because when I looked for Stephen's book on Audible, I didn't see it available in the US. So am I completely correct in that it's not available in the US? Does anybody know? So if anybody can answer that either in the chat now or after this has posted, let me know. Today we're going to be talking about investigative thinking part 1. That is where we're at in our discussion. So I'm going to go over. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate your help. So I'm working on this now while I do this because I'm in a section of just knitting. So I won't have to necessarily look at my hands. I just know that when Stephen was live last time, he said that it was on Audible and that was new, that it had not been, it has not been on Audible from the get-go. So okay, then I was correct because I sure did try. Well, if it ever does, I'm going to get it. Okay. Investigative thinking part 1. We need to go into this with a little recap from before because the passages right before all of this set it up for you, and that is that the team goes into things with a mindset of what do we know and what do we not know. And so when they go into their investigation, do you guys remember the questions for when they go into the investigation? Does anybody have a guess as to what the questions are that they use? The basic questions they want to know. So if you live in the UK, you can get the Audible version. Just so you guys know, it is available in the UK, just not in the US. And if you're Duke barking, I don't know what he's after. Yes. Who, why, when, how. So I believe there's 6. Yes, there's 6. So it's who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's basically what they want to know, which pretty basic questions. And he reiterated how when they go into their investigation that they go in with big goal and little goal. Identifying the little goals to achieve the big goal, which is to get a conviction. That's the big goal. And so they solve all these, they go through and they try to get all the little goals that will build up to the big goal. And then he talked about hypotheses. And I found this part very interesting because recently I've been watching Ken Maines, and he's been talking about the Idaho murders and his approach to his videos and the cases that he covers seem to really parallel with this detective and investigator mindset of having some sort of a hypothesis. So That is not to say, and I thought this was interesting, that is not to say that they use speculation, okay? And because we know the problem that's been going on in the world of true crime, we know what's been going on with that. A lot of speculation, a lot of these channels about a lot of cases. So, and speculation is not hypotheses, because speculation is off of not having enough information. So if you don't have enough information, you're not you don't truly form a hypothesis. You are just speculating. So the hypothesis is based on information and logic. And I think it's a lot of with these detectives and stuff. Don't you guys think so? That it has to be a lot of it is based on their previous knowledge of other cases, of having run through other cases, the things um, that they've seen over and over and over again. These patterns come to mind with a lot of this stuff, that we talk about. And those patterns are based on things like victimology, suspectology, evidence, all of those things. And then if you remember what we're talking about here, which is an MIT. So they have a whole team. They have got roughly 30 people working on it, right? And so what have they got? They're building hypotheses on that stuff too. One thing that he said that I found really interesting. Now, me, if any of you know me, you know that I will sometimes talk movie. So Mr. Fiber and I have watched a lot of movies. One of the things that we did was early on in our relationship was that he was working at the hospital and I was working at the beauty shop. And in the evening, when we got home, we would have a bagel with cream cheese. Now, those days are over. There are cream cheese alternatives, but I don't do dairy anymore, so those days are over. But it was just a stage that we were in, that we were eating bagels and cream cheese. We had a bagel and cream cheese at 5 o'clock every evening with our coffee. And then after we settled in for the evening, we were done talking, whatever, we would watch movies. Now, a lot of movies, I'd just fall asleep. I had to watch a lot of movies again because, yeah, I'd be tired and I would fall asleep watching them. But we talk in movies a lot because we've watched a lot of movies, and he got me to watching science fiction stuff. And I remember having friends over early on, and they would say, "You watch a lot of guy movies." Well, you know what? I kind of like the action stuff. I tend to like a lot. I don't tend to like. I'm not one of those that likes the chick flicks all that much, guys. So in Stephen's book, he quotes something that they say in law enforcement, and that is, you learn how someone lived and you will learn how they died. And that brings me to the movie The Last Samurai. And in The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise goes to the king, and the king wants to know how this last samurai died, and that is what Tom Cruise tells him. He says, I'm not gonna tell you how he died, but I will tell you how he lived." Now there's some chick flicks I like. There's a few, but it's just they're few and far between, mostly because they're entertaining. There's something funny, very, very funny and entertaining, but most of the time I'm like, "Nah." Most of them I don't like. But I thought that it was funny that that was something he had in the book too, and that that's something that they say in the investigations. Okay, I got a hot-blooded animal on my feet, which means I now need my fan. Got to find my cord for my fan. Yeah, so like when Harry met Sally, I'll have what she's having, right? I mean, that's classic. Yeah, your movie came out, Chad. We know. Your movie came out recently. Haven't watched it yet. It's been released on Netflix, I think. And I know you know that I know what movie it is. Oh, I still haven't finished the book except in my sleep. Yes, your favorite scene too? I'll have what she's having. I mean, that's just classic. So there's some that I like. I'm not saying I don't like any of them. Okay. But I will won't gravitate towards chick flicks. Let's put it that way. I usually gravitate towards action. So something I've heard other investigators say in other books and a lot of like crime shows and a lot of things, and that is that most murders have a link between the victim and the killer. It's sometimes hard to find, but it's usually there. There's usually a link between them somehow, somewhat, even if it's just by chance. Maybe they just met by chance, or that they didn't actually know each other, like know each other, like really know each other. But there will be a link, not necessarily a connection like knowing each other, but a link. He talked about, now this is something that I know that investigators do, and wouldn't it be great to be, and I think this is part of what he's trying to do with this book, and that, in my opinion, and that is put you in his head, because he tells how he stands at the door of a room and scans the room to see what possibly is in order and what isn't. So, what belongs there? What doesn't belong there? And that's observation. That is the power of observation. We talk about that also when we talk about being safe, and the fact that when you walk into a room, you really need to scan the room, and if someone doesn't really belong, you know, you're on the beach and there's this guy who's fully clothed in hoodie and all this stuff, like bridge guy. So you just really have to pay attention to your surroundings. This is it. This is this observations that these investigators make, and he was trying to put you in his head for for what he possibly sees. Now, I'm going to ask him. That's one of those questions I'd like to ask him whenever he comes on, because I feel like that's what he's trying to do with this book, you know, but that's just my impression so far. And also, you guys, I just want to say, if I can find my, it's hard with two screens sometimes to find my pointer arrow. Please email me, fiberflooziecrafts@gmail.com. If you have already thought of some questions this far into the book that you would like to ask Stephen when he is here, because I would like to have a preset of a few questions from people that I can ask him when he comes on. So, which is probably going to be, after the new year. I have not contacted him to see what his schedule is, but the way we're going on the book, I'm hoping it'll be sometime like January or so. So send me some questions if you've got them. You can also post questions at the bottom of the video once this goes live. That's another place you can do it. But I'd really prefer, I may not see them, so I really would prefer if you would email them to me. That way I can have them and keep track of them. So what are some of the hypotheses that they work off of? And some of them are things like, is it somebody they know, or would it be somebody they didn't know? And he did give an example in the book. I'm not going to go into it because, I'm not telling you the whole book. Y'all have to go get it and read it. But they start with things like that, and then and which is pretty broad, okay? So keeping it very simple in the beginning. Is it somebody they knew? Is it somebody they didn't know? And then they would narrow things down as they learn things in the investigation, okay? And he talks about how as the investigation goes on, they make certain decisions, that they record all of this. And that made me think about murder books, okay? I don't know if any of you have ever watched Bosch, which is based on the books by Michael Connelly. I've read several of Michael Connelly's books, and I've got several. I've listened to several of them on audio. They are fiction. His books are, and the series, of course, is fiction. However, Michael Connelly was a detective, and they had murder books whenever he was working, and he's based this series off that concept. Do what? Not the vegan Bosch, not the vegan cooking dudes. Are there vegan cooking dudes named Bosch? Hey, Frozen, glad you're here. Vegan cooking dudes named Bosch. I have to look that up. There is also a section where he talks about what happens when bad decisions are made in an investigation. Okay. I got my Topo Chico down because it was the right temperature. Huh. I'll have to look that up. But touching on the bad decisions, acting on too little information, and confirmation bias is huge in that regard. So steering something or someone towards something or someone and then letting that cloud your judgment. So jumping to a conclusion and saying, "Well, it's gotta be that it's the guy's girlfriend." The guy's girlfriend did it, or the guy's boyfriend did it, or whatever, and then just steering right down that direction and not looking at other things. And he said that is like the biggest problem. So you're you're enjoying watching the process of um of that trial. I would like to go back at a different time and watch that trial. I have not kept up with it, and I didn't feel up to going back and watching the whole thing. So I understand what you mean here, and that is being able to see what happens when bad decisions are made. So that's good to know, Annie, and I will have to keep that in mind. Confirmation bias is I see what I expect to see and disagree with things that don't agree with my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I call it like a one-track mind. And everything makes you think, "Oh, well, that is the way it was supposed to be." You know, "Look, this says it, and that says it." But if you're not entertaining other thoughts at the same time, that's confirmation bias. You have to entertain that there are other things that go on. Hey, Lamone. Yeah, you made it. Thank you. Yeah, I know I just but I've missed some of it, and I'm waiting on some other things as well. I'm waiting on the Murdaugh stuff and I'm doing some back research on the Alex Murdaugh murders too. Yeah, curiosity. Exactly. I would think curiosity plays a huge part in an investigation. Well, just like he was talking about in the room. If you walk into the room and there's a ladder against the wall and no reason for it, wouldn't you wonder what it was doing there? I mean, a lot of us use it for decorating, but I mean, if it just makes no sense, or a can of paint sit in the middle of a room and there's no paintbrushes, there's no partially painted walls, none of that kind of stuff, you would have to wonder, what's the paint for? Why is the paint there? You know, and okay, so and so was with these people the day before he died. Okay, well, you're gonna have to be curious about them because that's really close to the time frame. And then the next part went into motive. I think motive is a huge subject, and we could probably talk longer about motive. Yeah, have to stay open-minded and curious, exactly. So you're crocheting tonight? Are you making something in red, Lamone? We're doing a something in red make-along. Knowing you, whatever it is, it's very colorful. So some of the motives that he talks about are what causes a suspect to carry out an act. Why is that important? Greed, sex, or revenge. There it is. That right there is just pretty much the epitome of most of the motives in all of these cases: greed, sex, or revenge. And I think that that goes with both like investigators and lawyers. I think lawyers think along the same lines of that too. Yeah. Love, love, money, revenge. Yep. So why would they want to even know the motive? Because I don't know that, to me, I would think that it's important to a jury. A jury is going to weigh, even though that is not going to tip the scales either way on their decision, but I think they want to know why. And then the families want to know why. And if you have a motive, if a motive becomes fairly clear in the beginning, he says that it helps the investigation to have some sort of a motive. Stash busting for Christmas gifts. Yeah, using up the yarn. Yep. And that is it. It's the human part of it, isn't it? It's the human, the jury, the family, the media, all of those things. The side of things tends to want to know why. And we do. We want to know why. It tends to be important to us. Oops, it's going the other direction. We tend to want to know why something happened. It's like what I think makes us all very curious with, and why we look at true crime is, oh gosh, he did what? Why would he do that? What would bring somebody to the point of doing that, you know? So motive is, it runs, I would think it runs kind of like along an investigation. It's not the heart of it, but it would run along it. For sentencing, hmm, you think so? You think that plays a part? The motive and why somebody would do that for sentencing? Okay, so if they did it for money, then the argument for sentencing would be they're going to do, again, the propensity to do it again, right? I hear propensity to do it again a lot in the trials. I wonder if that plays a part. Okay. That is really as far as we are really need to go through the rest of the way through this book, but I don't have notes on the rest of the book, on the rest of this chapter. So, oh my gosh, he even gets into the psychology of the killer too. I think that this is enough for today, honestly. We'll do some more. I promise. Yeah, he talked a little bit about noble acts over there in the UK. I want to say that that's something that they was like within their laws, maybe, right? Noble acts. Now, you guys may have read farther than I did. Go ahead and tell me. Okay. Two small cents from being in paralegal class. Try to be careful looking too much into theatrics or even tactics in court. Most of it, not all the stuff you see, is for the victory of one team. It is true. Someone, Mm. Someone I watched recently did an interview, and they were a prosecutor. And it may have been a Casey Anthony stuff that I've been watching some of the prosecutor, some of the coverage, along recently. Anyway, they were talking about how much of an act. So trying to drive their point forward to the jury. So that is huge. That is a huge part of it. Hi, Barbara. Glad to see you. She's lurking. She's a lurker. And I want to say thank you to my lurkers. I appreciate you. I appreciate the thumbs, the watches. Did you guys see I posted in the community tab today? It always amazes me when they give me stats like this. I posted this in my community page, but I had this year, you guys gave me over 15K. K is 1,000, so over 15,000 likes. And then you gave me 787.9 thousand minutes watched on my channel. That's a lot of you guys spending a lot of time with me, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. What a great year. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, triggering some kind of an emotion. Yeah. Although the emotion is not supposed to sway them when they go in to make their decision. But I would say something that I heard the defense say in the George Wagner trial, and that was that they wanted the jury to decide whether some of the witnesses were credible. And that seems to be rather objective, if you ask me, whether they are credible or not. Don't you guys think? There you go. Put a picture in the Facebook group or send me one in my email. Okay, now I want to show you what I got in the mail, you guys. I need to do a little review on these things. One of these things. On these things. This is one of these things. Hold on. I don't want to give away what it is. But I need to do a review on this type of thing. Oh my gosh. How do you say it without saying it? Yay, it's wrapped. Does anybody can y'all guess what it is by looking at it there? Anybody? Any guesses as to what it is? It says Merry Christmas here and here. Those are gnomes. And there's the red he's plaid. I have been seeing these on this particular podcast, and I really, really wanted to try one of these. Ready? Of course, it's upside down. Oh, I love the colors. I love the colors. It's my colors with Christmas. Everybody's guessing. I love that you're guessing. Okay, now let me go to. I just love that y'all are trying to guess what it is. So I don't know if you guys watch Knit for Brains podcast, and that is Laura Brady, and now she does it with her best friend Karen Miller. She used to do it with her daughter because her daughter knits as well, but it's Knit for Brains Designs. I am the bag lady. That's what Mr. Fiber calls me. Oh, and I got a free stitch marker. Snowflake. Oh, I love it. I love it. This one is rather different. So, oh, she's got a new tag. Oh, how cool is that tag? Now her sister comes here and joins in our chat sometimes. You will know Linda Ostrishka, who comes into our chat. This is her sister, Laura Brady. Look, she's got a new tag. Knit for Brains Designs Co. on Etsy, you guys. But what's different about this one is that it has what's called a wire frame opening. So it really, really opens up into a square bucket type. Oh, look how beautiful the inside is. So see, because the bag has a square bottom, having that. Oh, I'm telling you, Chelsea, isn't that nice? You guys go over and get some. She's been doing these. Now she's through with her making the Christmas ones. So whatever she's got left is gone. Okay. But she'll be making more of them in other. Yeah, Lamone he was here. I don't know if he still is, but he was here, Chelsea. So here's the side view of it. There's the bottom. How nice. So it's a wire frame that doesn't snap closed, but it does kind of go closed nicely. Doesn't, like snap all the way close together. He's hooking. That, I like it. And then she puts these heavy, I don't know what you call this handle. These handles, the real heavy strap. So let me put my overhead back on so I can show you more about what's on it. It's got, there we go. We've got the snowman. I just love the teals on these, the teal and the blue together. We've got the hot cocoa. You've got your peppermint candy canes, says evergreen. To appreciate the beauty of a snowflake, you have to stand out in the cold. Icicles, snowfall, the magic of winter, gloves, let it snow. snowball fight. Here's the gnome guy with the ski poles. It's just so cute. Do we have some more of that one? Oh, look at that. I love that. Skating on a frozen pond. See that skating on is on a frozen pond. That's clever. Lehigh Mountain, Gnome Sweet Gnome, Alpine Ski Resort. Oh, I love it. I love it. So knit for brains, you guys. Okay. That is all I have for you guys today. I don't know about Thursday. I am doing my sleep test. So I got my sleep test equipment in the mail. It has a deal that goes on the nose, but it's not providing any air or oxygen. But it goes on the nose and then it hooks around the ears and down to the device. And the device sits underneath the chest, but not down at the, pretty much on the waist. Somewhere in that area is where they want it. And then it has a monitor that goes on the finger, and that one is wired back to the device as well. So they've got two things going on with this device. And you have to tape it. Yeah, you have to tape it on your face. It says to tape the deal on. No wires or anything. And I wear this. I do it here at home, Lamone. And I wear it for 2 nights, and then I send the device back with the paperwork that came in the box. And I think that they immediately send that over to the doctor. Oh, they see now I did a sleep test once before where I had all the wires and stuff, but they never told me that. But I took my knitting needles, and the nurse, they'd already had me in the room and settled in and everything, and they were getting ready to they put some of the wires on, and they were getting ready to put the others wires in, and she came in, she's like, she said she had to come and see what that noise was because she could hear my knitting needles. They were metal and she could hear them clicking, and she had never heard that noise. She was younger. Well, there's a new one. Yeah, I went to the neurologist. That's when I was trying to figure out what was going on with the migraines. It's before I started getting chiropractic adjustments for the migraines. This one is a hell of a lot cheaper. The other one was a couple $1,000s because I had no insurance. This time it was hundreds instead of thousands. And I do that, and then I send it back, and that's it. And I do it for 2 nights. So I don't know whether I'll be on Thursday because I'm doing the sleep test tonight and tomorrow night. But I don't know. I'm hoping I'm going to call and see if I can get in with the dentist again. I don't know. So everything's kind of in flux. I'll be here Friday. If I am able, I will definitely be here Friday. I just don't know if I'll be here for Thursday. Now, the reason for my sleep study is that I had AFib that showed up on my Fitbit. And I shared that information with my doctor, and he said, well, let's see what's going on. Let's start with a sleep study and see if we can figure it out from that direction. So that's the reason for the sleep study, plus the fact that I snore like a real man. So Train yourself to lucid dream. Huh. I always wish I had hyperactivity, but I don't. Always thought I might get more done. I shoot for about 7 hours is what I shoot for. And I get pretty close. I get sometimes between 6, 7, but somewhere between 6 and 8 I get these days. My dad is he died I would hear him walking the floors at night when I was up there. Because he would like, oh, thank you. Nothing serious as far as I know. We're gonna do this first because they're doing both the one that goes on the finger, they'll be monitoring the heart at the same time as they're monitoring the breath. So therefore, we're gonna twofer. We're gonna figure out two different things that might be going on and get some quicker results that way. And then we go with something a little more expensive. And I don't know if that'll happen or when that'll happen. So I don't know. Evidently, with the Fitbit, it only tells you this information when you are asleep and still, so the information did not get recorded during the day, although I get flutters, what I call flutters sometimes during the day, but those don't get recorded. So I've only had the one recording show up so far. So you guys, it's definitely, and I talked about this before, but if you can afford to get a Fitbit, there's an awful lot of reasons to have one. Another really great one, and that is self-care. There is a feature on mine that comes with the app for mindfulness. And it actually, if you record your mindfulness for the week, it actually gives you the ability to turn that to add a session of mindfulness, and they will play music for you and they will time it for you. So it's actually you taking that time for yourself to sit down and be mindful, to be quiet, to breathe, to do those things. And that's awesome. And that helps with stress. And then it also keeps track of stress. It's a great tracker. I think we do that a lot with our kids. I I got to wear, because I wear glasses, and at one time I had surgery. Well, the surgery failed, so I had to start wearing readers years later, but I had surgery for my eyes. But one of the things was I always wore glasses that were very, very thick, okay? Bottle bottoms, what I call them. I'd wear them to bed. I'd wind up sleeping in my glasses. I always have had to have my glasses fixed, repaired, straightened, do all those things because I would sleep in them, because I would have to get up in the night to go check on the girls, and I can't see my face and my hand in front of my face. So I'm like, so I just would wear them to bed. Wound up having to fix a lot of glasses back in those days. But yes, we are, yeah, Coke bottom. But yeah, we do. So we have to retrain ourselves about sleep. Sleep is huge. You guys, please do some self-care. I started this chat with it, and I want to finish this chat with it. And I would like you all to please practice some self-care, even if it's just sitting for 5 minutes and doing some breathing and drinking a little more water. It'll help. Trust me when I say this, it will help. Even somebody who's as laid back as me, I still have anxiety. It does help. So I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And we'll talk more then, you guys. Have fun today. Turn in your pictures. Don't forget to turn in some pictures. We're almost to the end of this. So turn me in some pictures. I have a few red pictures, but I need more red. Something in red. And hashtag it for me. Something in red, MAL, make along. So it's not Not just knit, not just crochet, bright red. Love y'all.